Oh, good morning. Welcome to the Saturday morning edition of Quarantining with Pastor Michelle. Today is Saturday, May 23rd, and we are in week 1020 of the quarantine. At least that's what it feels like at times, right? So just to give you just a little bit, just wanted to throw this out there. I know things are opening back up, and that's great. My only prayer, my prayer and my hope is that we do not see a rise in I think it's inevitable, but we may see a rise in numbers as people are being gathered together more. But I just want to encourage all of us to make safe decisions. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. If you're going to be in public, wear a mask. It's that simple. I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't wearing masks, and that is your choice. But just know that I think you are more likely to not get it necessarily, but you are possibly exposing other people to germs. And so, I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. I just want to see us be open, but also be safe. I know it's hard not having restaurants open. I know it's been a hard 2 months. It hasn't even been that long. It's been a hard 2 months. And it is great that things are open. And I just worry, especially with the bars and restaurants. And I know they're limiting how many people. But just be safe out there, my friends. Because we are still in a pandemic. Even though things are opening, we are still in a pandemic. And I will just say this, that our church, David's United Church of Christ, I know that the president yesterday said something about how churches are essential, and they are essential, I think. But just to be clear, our church is still very much open in a way. We may not be having face-to-face services. We may not have our office open during the week, and we may not be having visitors come in through the week. But we are still very much busy being the church. Pastor Brian and I, we have services. We have services every week on Facebook Live. I know he's doing a prayer. He's doing a book study. I'm going to be doing a book study soon. We both do prayer times on Facebook through the week. So I just think that we are still being the church, and even though we may not be meeting face-to-face, which is our choice, I think we are still very much doing what we need to be doing right now. And so I just want to give that 2 cents. I was thinking about that a lot yesterday. And so I caution everyone to be safe. Be safe. So I want to start with this. My deal with Creator is this. I'm dragging a sack of old worries, hurt, anger, doubt, and fear up a long hill, trying to get to the other side, to relief, to healing. If you need a hand, I'm here. You pull and I'll push, Creator says. Really? Creator says, I promise I will always be there to help you, but there's a catch. What's the catch? The Creator says, you have to pull first. My life has been changed by the use of a single word, yes. Leaving school at 16, having only completed grade 9, I was untrained and unskilled in anything. I struggled for years, homeless, in dire poverty, loss. Then one day a possibility was presented to me to be a storyteller, and I said yes. A journalism career, more than a dozen books, and numerous honors later. It's all because of that yes. There are 1,000 ways to say no, but I can't. It's impossible. It's too late. But there's only one way to say yes, with your whole being. When you do that, when you choose that word, it becomes the most spiritual word in the universe, and your world can change. Tell the story for the story's sake. Leave your expectations, ego, and doubt at the door, and use the store's energy to do your work. If your worries matter that much, you can pick them back up when you're finished for the day. So let's open with prayer. Our Father and Mother who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So, my friends, let's start with some good news. I know there's a lot of stuff out there right now, but do want to just highlight some news. I'm going to just finish that up. After the country of Ghana went under lockdown at the beginning of April, a pair of brothers put together a unique invention to help citizens in their country, in their city of Kumasi stay safe. It's a solar-powered hand-washing basin, and it has an especially nifty feature, a timer that complies with the CDC's suggested 20-second hand-washing cycle. The device releases soapy water when hands or other items come in contact with a sensor stored underneath the faucet. After 25 seconds, an alarm goes off indicating hand washing is complete. Then water is released to rinse hands before drying. Within days of completing the machine, Ghana's Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation contacted the brothers and scheduled a meeting to see if more machines can be made for other cities throughout the country. That's awesome. That's a great idea. And so here's another set of good news of kids. I'm amazed what kids are doing to make the world a better place. There's a kid, a 12-year-old named Jaquil Jackson from Chicago, who runs a nonprofit called Project I Am. Usually his organization assembles and distributes bags filled with hygiene products and other necessities to help homeless men and women. But now he's expanding his operation and creating blessing bags full of daily essentials for another vulnerable population, senior citizens. I'm doing my part in helping, and I feel like it's everyone's duty to help out where they can. Everybody in the world, they're scared, they're worried, so we have to work together to uplift each other. And so that's such an easy thing to do, even, just to make a bag of essentials, right? Britain's famed Chelsea Flower Show is going virtual for the first time ever, and we're all better for it. Between May 18th and May 23rd, which is pretty much over, but they released daily videos and Q&A panels featuring the finest of the flower world. Step into the legendary gardens of a Japanese designer and learn how to create a seasonal floral arrangement with British designer Nikki Tibbles. So I'm sure that you can find out more about that online. And I love this quote by NASA astronaut Chris Caddacy, who sent home a message of hope from his perch aboard the International Space Station. He said, "There's hope in being united. When I look down at the planet, it's just a big, beautiful spaceship that has 7 billion astronauts on it." And there's a picture. We all know what fog is, but do we really know what it is exactly? Fog is basically a cloud at ground level, a condensed area of water droplets that form when cool air settles over a warm, moist surface like a body of water. And there's a functional difference between fog and mist. Fog is denser and creates more limited visibility. CNN meteorologist Jennifer Gray has a fun fog-making experiment for the budding weather expert in your family. So that's another thing. And then just to let you know, your mental health can really suffer during periods of isolation and worry. Therapists are using a completely different kind of medium to bust the stigma around such issues. They're using TikTok. Yes, the favorite app of dancing, lip-syncing, posing teens is a source of gentle mental health advice and encouragement. So therapists who have closed their doors to the pandemic have gone on the app to give tips on staying positive during isolation and are debunking misconception about mental health in the pandemic that may feed people's anxiety. And it's not just medical advice. It's just a way to let people know talking about their feelings is healthy and it's brave. So that's awesome. So if you're on TikTok, that's just another way for us to be there and help be able to talk about our mental state, because I know all of us are just going through some stuff. But I am grateful for my therapist who has continued to reach out to me as much as possible. And so, my friends, I'm going to make it an executive decision for my videos. I am going to wait till Monday to continue our Woman of the Day. Our Woman of the Day on Monday will be Frida Kahlo. But just for sake of time and not to make my video too long, let's just plan on doing our women That didn't come out right. Let's just plan on hearing about our Women of the Day from that book. Let's just plan on doing it Monday through Friday. So anyway, let's get back to Hunger Games. That's part of the reason I wanted to get right into Hunger Games. And so we know that Katniss is now going on to the Hunger Games, and she's going to be going with Peeta Mellark, who they did have an encounter. When they were younger, Peeta actually gave Katniss food when she was hungry. And so let's dive right in, shall we, to Hunger Games. The moment the anthem ends, we are taken into custody. I don't mean we're handcuffed or anything, but a group of peacekeepers marches us through the front door of the Justice Building. Maybe tributes have tried to escape in the past. I've never seen that happen, though. Once inside, I'm conducted to a room and left alone. It's the richest place I've ever been in, with thick, deep carpets and a velvet couch and chairs. I know velvet because my mother has a dress with the collar made of the stuff. When I sit on the couch, I can't help running my fingers over the fabric repeatedly. It helps to calm me as I try to prepare for the next hour. The time allotted for the tributes to say goodbye to their loved ones. I cannot afford to get upset to leave this room with puffy eyes and a red nose. Crying is not an option. There will be more cameras at the train station. My sister and mother come first. I reach out to Prim and she climbs on my lap. Her arms around my neck, head on my shoulder, just like she did when she was a toddler. Thank you, Lemmy, for the added addition of the squeakiness. My mother sits beside me and wraps her arms around us. For a few minutes, we say nothing. Then I start telling them all the things they must remember to do. Now that I will not be there to do them for them. Prim is not to take any tessera. They can get by if they're careful on selling Prim's goat milk and cheese in the small apothecary business my mother now runs for the people in the seam. Gail will get her the herbs she doesn't grow herself, but she must be very careful to describe them because he's not as familiar with them as I am. He'll also bring them game. He and I made a pact about this a year or so ago, and will probably not ask for compensation, but they should thank him with some kind of trade, like milk or medicine. I don't bother suggesting Prim learn to hunt. I tried to teach her a couple times, and it was disastrous. The woods terrified her, and whenever I shot something, she'd get teary and talk about how we might be able to heal it if we got it home soon enough. But she makes out well with her goat, so I concentrate on that. When I'm done with instructions about fuel and trading and staying in school, I turn to my mother and grip her arm hard. Listen to me. Are you listening to me? She nods, alarmed by my intensity. She must know what's coming. You can't leave again. My mother's eyes find the floor. I know. I won't. I couldn't help what... Well, you have to help it this time. You can't clock out and leave Prim on her own. There's no me now to keep you both alive. It doesn't matter what happens. Whatever you see on the screen, you have to promise me you'll fight through it. My voice has risen to a shout. And it is all the anger, all the fear I felt at her abandonment. She pulls her arm from my grasp, moved to anger herself now. I was ill. I could have treated myself if I had the medicine I have now. That part about her being ill might be true. I've seen her bring back people suffering from immobilizing sadness since. Perhaps it is a sickness, but it's one we can't afford. Then take it and take care of her. It will be all right, Katniss, says Prim, clasping my face in her hands. But you have to take care too. You're so fast and brave. Maybe you can win. I can't win. Prim must know that in her heart. The competition will be far beyond my abilities. Kids from wealthier districts where winning is a huge honor, who've been trained their whole lives for this. Boys who are 2 to 3 times my size. Girls who know 20 different ways to kill you with a knife. Oh, there will be people like me too. People to weed out before the real fun begins. Maybe, I say, because I can hardly tell my mother to carry on if I've already given up on myself. Besides, it isn't in my nature to go down without a fight, even when things seem insurmountable. Then we'd be rich as Haymitch. I don't care for rich. I just want you to come home. You will try, won't you? Really, really try, asked Prim. Really, really try. I swear it, I say. And I know because of Prim, I have to. And then, sorry, hold on. This is what she's playing with. And then the peacekeepers at the door signaling our time is up, and we're all hugging one another so hard it hurts. And all I'm saying is, I love you both. And they're saying it back. And then the peacekeeper orders them out and the door closes. I bury my head in one of the velvet pillows as if this can block the whole thing out. Someone else enters the room, and when I look up, I'm surprised to see it's the baker, Peter Malark's father. I can't believe he's come to visit me. After all, I'll be trying to kill his son soon. But we do know each other a bit, and he knows Prem even better. When she sells her goat cheeses at the Hobbs, she puts 2 of them aside for him, and he gives her a generous amount of bread in return. We always wait to trade with him when his witch of a wife isn't around because he's so much nicer. I feel certain he would never have hit his son the way she did over the burned bread, but why has he come to see me? The baker sits awkwardly on the edge of one of the plush chairs. He's a big, broad-shouldered man with burn scars from years at the ovens. He must have just said goodbye to his son. He pulls a white paper package from his jacket pocket and holds it out to me. I open it and find cookies. These are a luxury we can never afford. Thank you, I say. The baker's not a very talkative man in the best of times, and today he has no words at all. I had some of your bread this morning. My friend Gail gave me a squirrel for it. He nods, as if remembering the squirrel. Not your best trade, I say. He shrugs as if it couldn't possibly matter. Then I can't think of anything else, so we sit in silence until Peacemaker summons him. He rises and coughs to clear his throat. I'll keep an eye on the little girl, make sure she's eating. I feel some of the pressure in my chest lighten at his words. People deal with me, but they are genuinely fond of Prem. Maybe there will be enough fondness to keep her alive. My next guest is also unexpected. Madge walks straight to me. She's not weepy or evasive. Instead, there's an urgency about her tone that surprises me. They let you wear one thing from your district in the arena, one thing to remind you of home. Will you wear this? She holds out the circular gold pen that was on her dress earlier. I hadn't paid much attention to it before, but now I see it's a small bird in flight. Your pen? Wearing a token for my district is about the last thing on my mind. Here, I'll put it on your dress, all right? Madge doesn't wait for an answer. She just leans in and fixes the bird to my dress. Promise me you'll wear it into the arena, Katniss. Promise. Yes, I say. Cookies, a pen. I'm getting all kinds of gifts today. Madge gives me one more, a kiss on the cheek. Then she's gone, and I'm left thinking that maybe Madge really has been my friend all along. Finally, Gale is here, and maybe there's nothing romantic between us, but when he opens his arms, I don't hesitate to go into them. His body is familiar to me, and the way it moves, the smell of wood smoke, even the sound of his heart beating. I know from quiet moments on a hunt, but this is the first time I really feel it, lean and hard-muscled against my own. Listen. Getting a knife should be pretty easy, he said, but you've got to get your hands on a bow. That's your best chance. They don't always have bows, I say, thinking of the year there were only horrible spiked maces that the tributes had to bludgeon one another to death with. Then make one. Even a weak bow is better than no bow at all, says Gale. I have tried copying my father's bows with poor results. It's not that easy. Even he had to scrap his own work sometimes. I don't even know if there'll be wood, I say. Another year, they tossed everybody into a landscape of nothing but boulders and sand and scruffy bushes. I particularly hated that year. Many contestants were bitten by venomous snakes or went insane from thirst. There's almost always some wood, Gale says. Since that year, half of them died of a cold. Not much entertainment in that. It's true. We spent one Hunger Games watching the players freeze to death at night. You could hardly see them because they were just huddled in balls and had no wood for fires or torches or anything. It was considered very anticlimactic in the capital, all those quiet, bloodless deaths. Since then, there's usually been wood to make fires. And so, that concludes today's section. So, we will finish up this chapter tomorrow as we continue to hear about Katniss saying goodbye to her loved ones. And as we continue to hear about what is going to happen to her as she prepares to participate in the Hunger Games. And so, my friends, God bless you. Stay safe out there and help others to stay safe as well. Much love to all of you. Happy Saturday.